So this is getting really ridiculous now. So this road they've built on this mound, which is likely a hill fort, highly likely to be a hill fort. So the shape of the street on the top they've built, right, is like a letter D shape. There's no doubt about it. It's a letter D shape on a hill fort that's shaped like a Liberty Cap. And up on the Grange Moor is where Beaumont built that clog teach, which effectively is a Liberty Cap, based on the Irish Round Tower. Now, the thing is, I don't know when this was built. I need to find out from the council or from the Huddersfield Examiner, because they'll have the story in it likely. We need to know what the story was. If it was mid-70s, it's likely, I'm guessing it's after Tolkien passed away. Now, they built a tower to commemorate, because it's a lot nicer tower than what's on Castle Hill. But they've done the dirty on us. It's almost like Tolkien gets this award and celebrated and all this. It's almost like they can't give without taking. So they bang the Dunce thing on this, which it is like a dunce hat. But they've not done that to Uffington White Horse, because that's all Oxford, isn't it? So they won't do it to their own ancient sites. Now, why is that significant and a joke? And why are they mocking us? Well, because on this map, on this royal, it's actually was written, drawn in the King's Arms. And this will be a well-known map. It's not the Geoffrey map, it's not the Speed map, but it's a map, and it's got royal affiliations on it. When he's written the West Riding of Yorkshire in big, the D happens to be at Huddersfield, and then pretty much around where Castle Hill is the letter D. And it's Legill. Don't even know where that is. Never heard of it. It's like French Legills, the Gills. So that is without question a right horrible nasty joke, which I would actually I'd say that it's a racist attack. It's a racist attack on a heritage and culture. So, that's prosecutable offence. Or if you even want to say treason against the people, I don't know. But I would say now definitely D for discrimination and harassment. And definitely, I would say racially motivated. Discrimination for class, discrimination for culture. Stack them up. Stack the offences up. I'd prosecute. Never mind Prince Andrew. And then what they'll do is they'll blame it on someone else. Oh no, it's the guy went down Australia and made loads of money and come back and sold it. Bought the Ramsden estate. And then quietly passed it on to a corporation, and it ends up in the hands of HM Government Council. Look, Alex Hog, Boss Hog, innit? It's Boss Hog. Hog in the hill. At the King's Arms. So they're hogging it now. Hog the hill. We need to find out what date it was. I think it might have been before I were born, or it was around that time. I think likely. It's really weird because I used to have a tree house up at the park, and I used to call it Base 1. And there were a little row of trees there, and they even pulled that down. They pull everything. They've got the vile. They're vile, these people. They're absolutely vile people. Making all these arrangements behind the scenes and the horrible comedy jokes. Meridian of London. T. Conda Sculp. the new map of Yorkshire, the authorities. So you see, we've got the White Horse there running as if it's kind of, all the White Horse gets kept intact. Well, it's actually meant to be because it's the riding, isn't it? But it's horrible, disgraceful. D for Dunce. Just after that, after Emley Moor mast being built, likely Tolkien goes. So Tolkien probably thought he'd done something good to get that nice tower there, at least, when there was that. I don't think he was keen on the Victoria Tower, to be honest, because it's not very pretty, is it? There's definitely some Mordor stuff going on. But the worst thing is that, after, and then that's around the time, you see, when they start bringing loads of immigrants in. It's like Mordor, isn't it? And I think they had a very vile joke about that Lord of the Rings in our area, really. I'd prosecute. What's that? Got something for the. Where's that video the other video that I put for the. There was another video that I actually put. Don't know where it is now. Oh, here, I think it's here. Oh no. Yeah, they're talking about Abrig. See, this is that Sirdig Gwallop Clog. These are the people to do with when it was called Elmet. And that Clog is a Welsh place that is just to the southwest, to the west of Oswestry-Ilford. And that's the surname. So if the surname is from there, that's a connection to Guinevere. If Guinevere is supposed to be from over Oswestry way, if they were originally from there and ended up here. But Gwallop is like Gallop anyway. Seerdig, it's also like having a dig, isn't it? Like almost. What did they know that hill fort was dug out, and did they name him it to remind him? They're also talking about a place called Abrig, but the thing is, Abrig's over Wakefield way, not at Huddersfield, and it means at. So if it's at the brig, it means at the pile or at a pile or a stack. Really, the cairns are a pile or stack of stones. So brig or brigantes, if a pile or stack of stones could be a cairn, then instead of just calling it a cairn, then a long cairn, like a bridge shape out of cairn, you can have that as well. I found it now. I found this what I wanted to. Brig, pile or stack. You gotta be kidding me. What are those cairns made out of? Piles and stacks of stones, or actually what are dolmens, which is the core skeleton part of many of the cairns, stacked up stones. Brig. You gotta be kidding me. It's also like Bree as well in Lord of the Rings, isn't it? He calls it Bree. Wa in Bridget. So Bridget, St. Bridget's Day, just the god, the Celtic god is female deity Bridget. Goddess.
Wa in breache.
So house, though, is Taig. House is Taig, Taigh. I know that because when you say O'Cally, it actually sounds like O'Colour, actually. When you say that, the last part of my name in Irish spelling is house, funnily enough. But the first part, I'm not too sure about. But brick house, though, it's a pile or stack. So that literally is the Cairns like and Dolmens, really. Elbow, you know? Devil's Elbow and Isle of Man.
So,
and many of the smaller long barrows are actually made out of stones as well, aren't they? And all the dolmens do stacked up stones. So just going on to that Robin Hood story again, all the Robin Hood stuff I did. So BHO, bow, means from somewhere. So a bow, obviously, when you're using the bow, it's things are coming from it, namely arrows. So it's emitting arrows from it, almost like sending mail or a message. I've written down quite a lot of interesting Gaelic terms and words actually on a sheet of paper. It's quite sort of random, but they're all kind of linked and tied in generally together on variations of words around. Also, like the talk as well. Although talk is the word. When you say talkie, that's not the Gaelic word for it, because talk is from the Latin. Actually, the spirals and the twists, it's actually related to collar and going around your neck, and ears and hearing, and also like collar and colour. Because at the end of the talk, you've got those round circles, almost like that you can look through them, you know, or not make the observations of the astral bodies. Then it's like a collar, but also it comes like, and you've got your cochlea in your ear as well. There's all it all sort of ties in together. It's when you start looking at the Welsh language. Well, the Scottish and the Gaelic do. I'm not sure what's going on with the Welsh one, because it's an oddity, the Welsh one. The Welsh are meant to be the ones who preserve the language, yet when you study it, it doesn't seem to fit with all the things that we've got here. But the Scottish and the Irish does, and they're the ones that haven't been preserved as much. It's meant to be the Welsh who preserve it, but I think the Welsh have got. There's a few names you can have for stuff, and unfortunately, I think the Welsh have been using the wrong term. There's an alternative term that they should use, but they seem to have. It's almost like I was saying earlier, if you go into a place in Wales and they start talking Welsh, so you can't understand what they're saying. So, but if you try and read the Welsh language and see what he says, what they do is they say, oh, well, they'll use a different word, so you still can't understand what he's saying, when we know what the word in Gaelic is, because they got it in Scottish and Irish Gaelic, and they can understand each other. So I think the Welsh are being double awkward. It's like double jeopardy. It's like they're speaking Welsh so that you can't understand what they're saying, and then when you're trying to study the Welsh language to see what it means in English, and they use the alternative term so you don't know it. So, but when you look at the Scottish and the Irish one, then it makes perfect sense. So there's something. I think the Welsh are doing a bit of a double cross, and they always pretend to be all these bards and poets, but they're being poetic about being awkward. So, you know, we've had a fast one pulled on us with this map. Look at that, right on the spot with D. So I don't know whether Tolkien had liked that or not. The last thing that Tolkien knew was we're getting that tower, and then I think the powers that be kind of like did a double cross, and then we got the Imperial Chemical Industries and the lot with the tower, with the Dunce sign on the hill fort, Liberty Cap, with the Dunce hat, with the Imperial Chemical Industries smog, you know, with the Royal Armouries, you know, it's at a brig. Not too sure why at Wakefield it's at a brig. What's this? Oh, I put a video of that Devil's Elbow place where the priesthood guys did that video in the little chamber. I could put that video up actually, but I might put it on there. And then it does like a recreation of another one of the sites. You see, you know what I do is this, right? That's disgrace. That is, and the worst thing is the Huddersfield hub. You know, oh no, well it's the hub. It's the hub. We should be proud of it. It's the Huddersfield hub. Yeah, what hub is a D shape? What D-shaped hub, you know, goes around smoothly? You know, it's almost like going to a speed bump, isn't it? It's like, you know, and now I checked out the Huddersfield hub on Twitter, and they're calling it Huddersfield Hub FC Football Club. But the Huddersfield Town have already got Twitter pages. I thought the Huddersfield Hub was meant to be Martin Shaw and meant to be independent sort of newspaper hub thing, but now it's Huddersfield Town. Make your mind up. Never mind a D, it's FC, D. Like Division 1, isn't it? D for Division 1, FC. I mean, do they already know about this? Does Martin Shaw and Andrew Hurst already know about this? Or are they mocking us? You know, I don't get it, you know. No wonder we're staying in Division 1 when there's a big D on there, you know. It's almost as if like they're symbolically concreting us in the division. And in fact, it's in Doctor Who. They've got division in Doctor Who in Series 13, and the new Doctor Who, Jodie Whittaker from Huddersfield. They've got the division, and it's like a letter D, isn't it? So it's, and then, you know, all their sites, all the Uffington and everything near Oxford gets the pristine preservation for miles around in the Ridgeway. You see, we've got the Pennines, which is a beautiful ridge walk, which if this was incorporated into it, it would have added some nice lush countryside into it, and it wouldn't have been all barren on the hills, which, you know, this is, I prosecute because there is racial hatred in here, intent of racial attack. You know, what I do is I think we should make them turn Sandringham, Buckingham Palace, and Blenheim. We should have Blenheim Palace, Sandringham, and Windsor, right? We should we'll move the royals out of there. This is what I think we should do, right? This is my idea, right? We should get a, like, you know, have you seen when you go to the fairground and they've got the ghost train? It was like going to be the opposite of the ghost train. You know, instead of like, ooh, kind of spooky and scary, it could be like, you know, laughs, kicks and thrills. We'll have like a train, we'll have like a mini train railroad track going all the way through all the rooms of the entire palace. We'll have one at Sandringham, like a little circuit going around the whole place, one at Blenheim and one at Windsor, right? And, you know, we'll have all the Americans coming over on a holiday, and it's like £5,000, right? Maybe you get to do all three sites for £5,000, right? Because that's what they've done, rubbished our three sites here. So we'll have them on a little railroad track, and then it's like the ghost train thing, and then we'll get some, we'll tie it into Madame Tussauds. It'll become part of Madame Tussauds, and we'll have all the wax dummies of the royals around in the house. You know, you get to see each one of them as you're going round, you know, like of the Queen, then you'll have Prince Charles, and maybe we'll even bring Diana back and have her in there, right? We'll have all the train track going round. It's £5,000 for Americans to come over, like they can do all three for £5,000. Are you being served? We'll have the servants there, and as you go past on the ghost train, can slow down and they can get champagne from the waiter, real waiter, not a wax one, right? Well, they'll be served as well, and then they get to sit on the throne. They can have a little sit on the throne like King Ralph and Roseanne, so they get to feel a bit royal. You know, they can have tea and biscuits, and then we'll sell those royal teapots like what Andrew went round to see Courtney Love, you know, around at Earl. You know, maybe we could even have, you know, maybe it could get a bit scary at one point and the lights go out, and maybe Kurt Cobain could start playing and go, with the lights out, it's less dangerous, here we are now, entertainers. You know, maybe they could actually have a wax dummy of Courtney Love as well. I think in one of the rooms, when you go through, the lights go out and then it plays Nirvana, and then you come into the next room, and we could have like a wax Andrew with Courtney Love in that hole in there, with some royal teapots maybe, and you could watch Andrew having a drink with Courtney Love as you go through. You know, maybe you could even have, you know, You could even have John Bercow in there, you know, or even the Lord Chief Justice, you know. You could have the Lord Chief Justice in there as well, maybe Wax One, and maybe even the Lord Anningfield, you know. And I think that would make some money. I think, never mind, Camelot have stopped doing scratch cards now, and Camelot have stopped doing instant wins. You see, if you're having, you know, a ghost train full of Americans over $5,000 a time, you know, that's like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 35, 45. Now, how many people can you hold in it? 50 or so, like 50,000. I mean, that's like 200,000. I mean, you could be making £200,000 per run around per circuit, right? If you get 50 on a train, that's 200 grand. And then, you know, maybe you could have, I don't know how many train loads you could get a day, but then they've got all the rest of the grounds, you know, to go around. And if you're doing that at Sandringham and at Windsor, I mean, you're looking at, you know, you're looking at a few million a day. I mean, that's probably going to beat Camelot. I mean, never mind Camelot on fire. You're going to raise some serious charity money, and then Charles can spend it on the environment, seeing he likes the environment so much. In fact, that can pay for fixing up our Hill Fort and rehousing everyone in Waterloo and Dalton back to some decent housing with some decent views, and that'll pay for all the rewilding of our place here, getting our sites back, and then, you know, then they can. That can subsidise a lottery then, you know. It can make some money off it. That's what we can do. I think we need to have, you know, we need to get some serious, you know, holiday makers over. You know, we can have Chinese going around it. I mean, that's got to compete with Mark Zuckerberg, that. I mean, look, Zuckerberg's wanting to, you know, Mark's like, oh, I've got the, you know, virtual reality goggles now, you can do anything. Well, forget the virtual reality goggles, Mark. This is Sandringham Castle. This is Windsor Palace. This is Blenheim. The real deal, Mark. None of this virtual reality bollocks. Get your money out. Show me the money. Show me the money. We're talking like £2 or £3 million a day. Never mind Rees-Mogg. I'll have Rees-Mogg in there. We'll have Churchill in there. In fact, we'll have Churchill in there as well, because you could have a period drama. You could have, like, you know, you could have Churchill, we'll have George in there, Churchill, different rooms, you know. I think we'll bring Madame Tussauds in and we'll make some real money out of this. I think it will be better than Universal Studios, you know, because none of this, like, people that like all this excitement, woo, big up and down railroad, all these railroad ride tracks, you know, woo, skydiving, no, nice and calm, you know, have some music on. We could have Elton John playing Candle in the Wind. You know, actually, maybe Elton, we could get Elton to play there live as you're going through one of the rooms. Elton's there, not wax Elton, the actual Elton, playing there as well. That's got to probably top it up. You could probably double that, and then instead of £5,000 a pop, you could charge them 10. The Americans will pay it. Americans, you know, these Courtney Lovells, they love stuff like that. They love all the teapots and everything. I think this could be a real moneymaker. I think that this is the answer for, you know, Camelot. You know, Camelot's changing hands, they're scrapping scratch cards because they litter the environment and all this, you know. And it could be, the train could be run on renewable energy. It could be run on electric. We don't need any, you know, no petrol or anything like that. It's all electric. And in fact, they like those wind things so much. The Windsors love those new wind farms so much. All over the bloody place. Out at sea, on the hills, everywhere else. We could put them on the roof. They love those Windsor wind generators so much. What we'll do is, we'll fit them all on the roof. All around the roof of Sandringham and Blenheim Palace. And at Windsor as well. And I think that we'll have it all running off wind power. It'll all be self-sustaining, and then it won't have a big carbon footprint, because we'll all have the nice Windsor wind power on the roof when the Americans go, and then it'll really blow them away, that, and then it'll be making even more money, because all it'll be self-sustaining power to run it all. You know, all you've got to pay for then is the tea, the biscuits, You know, and then we could get that guy who the Queen likes his favourite cakes, Mr. Kipling or whatever he is, Tea Time Tasties. At the end of it, you can get a tray of Tea Time Tasties. I think this is a good idea. I love it. And I think it's going to solve all the financial problems of this country. That's what we're going to do. And it'll pay for this mess fixing as well in no time. He'll pay for this mess fixing in probably about 2 or 3 years, and then all the rest of the money can start going towards charities and making up for the rest of Camelot. We'll have some, they can do some Princess Trust funds then. They could do some Princess Trust funds then with that. They could do some conservation work then with that.